Intro. Okay. You're probably watching the recording of this because it's quite late now. It's 12:30 Irish time. I got cut off. I got cut off from YouTube. And then I got a message, something to do with this video isn't suitable for advertisers. I think it's something to do with that. So I don't know if it was a bug or something, but you know, seeing as detailer subscribed and a few bits is going around from Quaggy UK and stuff like that, and actually moreover, it didn't get finished on YouTube. The stream didn't get finished to its conclusion, and you know what I'm like, I'm finishing it and I don't care. We're going to do it again, but in a different place. We're going to use the Tobii eye tracker. This is why we're here today. We're going to need to use the Tobii eye tracker, and we're going to talk about what it is. I know if you come back, I'd say most of you it's an hour later after the stream is cut off, but we're going to do it again just for the purposes of seeing, you know, how it works, so you can see tomorrow when you review this on YouTube how the tracker works and why I'm using it. Producer Buttons is furious with the whole cutty-offy thing. Just furious. Look at how angry Producer Buttons is. So let's get the camera ready for the controls. I don't understand. Maybe it was a bug that got me off, but then at the same time, you know, this is not suitable for advertisers. Maybe it's because I was wearing my jammy jams. I don't know. YouTube is very difficult these days. Now, why are we here? Better give her a treat. I just did actually, Windage. Thank you. Windage is here. We're going to get a whole assortment of different viewers this time because of the time, I'm guessing. So what's our plan? Well, first of all, my plan is to play with the Tobii tracker, right? The Tobii eye tracker. Where is the Tobii? There it is. Okay, it's all set up. So let's hop in the cockpit very quickly to give you a preview of what we're going to do, right? It's not going to be a long stream. It's going to be reasonably short. That was not a fart, YouTube. Probably cut me off. God knows why they cut me off. Anyway, I put it through to a manual review. I'm just getting frustrated with YouTube because it takes me a day to upload a 4K video that was for 5 minutes, and it's getting really difficult to work with YouTube. So anyway, here we are. That is the noise from FS Realistic. That's people moving around and stuff, you know. So Tobii eye tracker, what is it? Okay, let's activate the head tracker portion of it. The head tracker of it, as you can see here, I can kind of look around quite neatly, right, with my head. Okay, it's only looking at my eyes. Now, at the moment with the Tobii eye tracker, you can't lean forward and zoom in, and you can't lean back, you can't yaw, you know, all this kind of stuff. It only follows your head stuck. But I like the way, you know, you can look right and left, you know. I don't have to wear anything on my head. And this portion looks quite, it works quite well, you know. Those beeps, if you can hear them, are actually Discord. Probably people saying, you're on again. So I can't read the Discord because I've got so many windows open, folks. But thank you. Now, also, I was just reading Discord. People are having all sorts of different problems with update 7, but I'm sure they're gonna patch that up. So here we are. Oh, the flaps are down here on this aircraft. So that's the head tracker portion of it. Okay. But what I like about the Tobii eye tracker is the following. Right. I'm going to switch off the head tracking portion. I've mapped it to my joystick. Here is the eye tracker. Now I'm looking at the gripper sim portion of the cockpit here. It's a little bit low. I don't know why. Now I'm looking at the pitot heat button. It seems so every time. It only has a small little window of accuracy. You know, it seems to be about here. That's accurate. You know, it seems to be about here. So I'll just show you the configuration here for the Tobii eye tracker. So you can change the color of this to any color you want. And the reason I like this, right, is when I'm doing IR flying, because I'm kind of learning again. Well, you get rusty very quickly with IR, so your scan for your eye is very, very important. Okay, that's vital. And also for streaming, you can see exactly what I'm looking at, pretty much. Okay, now I'm looking at the sun here now. That's accurate. I'm looking at the horizon there where the grass meets the trees, a little bit below the target. Now I'm looking at Garmin, now I'm looking at Gripper Sim. It seems to get better, I think, as we go, you know. So I'm not going to, you know, I'll just show you here. You got all sorts of settings for it, right? Now, I don't know about this Twitch thing, stream using Twitch extension. Enable ghost. This is the ghost here. So I can switch that off and on. I can change the size of the bubble. I like to have it small because it's more accurate that way. You can see pretty much. You know, I'm looking at the X here. I'm not looking at the compass, you see. So it's not got a great. I'm looking at bubble here. Looking at heat map, solid. So it does seem to get better. But I'm kind of learning how to use it myself. It shouldn't be too tricky. But I suppose for what I wanted, what I wanted for is, so you can see what I'm looking at while we're doing instrument fly. Okay. So that's what that's for. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get rid of this bit here. Okay. It's a pity. There's like loads of different applications for it, and it's quite confusing to a degree. I'll have to actually. Where's Discord here? That's the beeps there. That's people chatting away. So I don't want to disturb them. So I'll just stop that noise there now. There is another Tobii thing here. Let me get it for you. The Tobii Experience, Tobii Ghost is what I want. Maybe it's the Tobii. Yeah, it's the Tobii Experience. Now, this is another app you have to have in order to configure the Tobii. So I can improve the calibration. So I guess if I keep doing that, it will get better. So it says, these are my eyes. And it's not their fault because look, there's my eyes moving there, okay? I'm panning side to side. It says move closer. I cannot move my monitor closer without changing my whole rig. So that's why I guess it's not accurate. So it's not their fault entirely, okay? So I'd move closer just to activate it, and then I sit back in my usual position. So look at the dot. I'm looking at the center of the dot there. So it's a little bit off center there. That's fine. Up here, that's way off. Look, down here, it's a little bit high. Here, it's a little bit high again. You see that? So I don't know. Maybe I can see it a bit more forward here and see if that works. So Colonel Pink has had this, and he's very happy with it. But as you'll see in the stream now very shortly, or in the replay of the stream, we'll see how good it is, and you can be the decider of that. I hope I'm loud enough, by the way. Now I've taken the last stream I did of this off because I don't know why they cancelled it. I'm going to do that configuration one more time because I'm sitting closer now. I don't know why they took it down, but we're doing it again, but in Oxford this time. I'm going to do an NDB ILS approach. We're going to fly out of Oxford, come back and just do the procedure. So it says move closer. So maybe about 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch. You know, I'm going to move 3 inches closer to the monitor. So that's a pity. There's the dot there, a little bit low to the target. A little bit low where I'm looking. Now it should explode. That's not good. That's accurate. That's kind of accurate as well. So it only works. It's not incredibly accurate because I can't sit closer. No, that's not good. See, it's low all the time. That's kind of okay. So I won't bore you to tears. I had this in the last string. So yeah, that's what the eye tracker does. Eye tracker does. You don't have to wear anything. It's just a little bar. I'll show you here. I'm not advertising for them because I buy these myself. See the little thing there below the screen here? That's the tracker. It's just a little red. They're not blue. They're actually red lights there. It's just the camera's not picking up the color so I can see it. So I want you to have the view of my controls. Now, IFR flying, it's all about the scan, isn't it? Now, the scan, I have to repeat myself here now, but let me switch on the aircraft first. So you can see pretty much where my eyes are going there. So that's actually a little bit better. There's all the switches there. I'm looking at those there. So let's, I'm using the mouse to pan around here. Let's put the parking brake on or off, just so I don't forget about my feet on the brakes here now. Let's put the master switch on. See, it's low there. See that? But it's not going to matter to us. And you'll see why. It doesn't have to be totally accurate. Let's put the master on for a right engine and start up the right engine. Oh, no, I didn't hold the button down long enough. There we go. Exactly like the DA40 that I used to fly. Master on here. That's accurate to where I'm looking at now. Oh, why would you come on? I don't know. I haven't done the checks properly here. I just want to get the engine started. There we go. The engines are now started. Okay, good. Let us confirm the Garmin here. Okay, good, good, good. It's doing its tests for everything on. Meter heat master. On. Boot pumps on or off. Okay, come on. GPS. Oh, very realistic. Very realistic. This has got the added pack for the DA62. It's quite good, actually. The reason I'm doing IR stuff for the DA62, as I said before in the last stream, but you probably haven't seen that because it was cut off from YouTube, is... I won't go on about it because I'm angry about it. So I just have to do one more thing here. I just want to get the YouTube chat up if you don't mind before we get going. And then I'm going to have a quick look at the chat, see who's on. And we'll get going. We'll get going. We have a quick test first. Just going to get the chat here on YouTube here. There we go. Put that there. I've got my thumbnail on. And now let's get to the YouTube chat. Come on, come on, come on. Sorry about all this, folks. Usually, you know, rather than having the intro, is it not better to have... I don't want to keep you waiting. I have to have another intro. This is why usually there's an intro on YouTube videos. It's because you don't want to be waiting for me to set it up. There we go. Let's touch that one, please. But don't make it easy. There we go. No, rather than having the intro. There we go. That's me playing there. So greetings, Walter Dominski. Not a recording. No, this is not. This is live, but it will be a recording tomorrow. Hi Gripper, funny time, but welcome. Yes, it is Sling 380's funny time because the last stream didn't work. YouTube cut it off, and I ain't going to give up. Zombie Sax with us. Greetings, Jake W. Hi from Pennsylvania. How do you disable the eye tracker when you're in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020? Well, what I do is you can set a key, and mine is shift caps. That's off. Right, now I should have to my joystick and then on again. So that's really cool because what I thought was, now I'm going to activate everything. So it's following my eyes now and my head. So that's pretty cool. Now if I were flying IR like this, I have to keep my head very still because it's very, very hard to see where my eyes are going now, isn't it? So you can have one or the other or both, you know, or I can have it switch off the eye tracker and just have the head tracker portion on, which is brilliant. So that's the story there. So you can have it any which way you want. You can change the color, you can change the size of the blob, and all that kind of stuff. So I'll disable the head tracking for the minute. We'll play with that when we take off. So the purpose of this video is I'm going to be flying IR, where our view is going to be in here. You're going to see me with my scan here. So you can see here I'm looking at the artificial horizon, okay? Here I'm looking at the speed tape. Here I'm looking at the altitude and the vertical speed. I'm looking at the Q&H here. I'm looking at the heading here. There's the heading, and there's the track there. There's the wind data. So it's actually quite good. So this is where we're going to be looking. Why am I interested in this? Well, it's probably very interesting for a student. It's probably very, very interesting for a student or a student's instructor to see where the student is looking, because your scan is all important when you're flying IFR. Now, why is that? Well, because when you're flying VFR in you know, normal flying, looking at the window, okay, like this, you like when you're walking, you can see the horizon, okay? If you couldn't see anything when you're walking, you know, it's going to be, well, when you're flying, oh, just tilt your head a little bit. That's nice, but it doesn't zoom in and out. So when you're flying, all of a sudden, if you can't see out, you don't know what way's up and what way's down. Even when you have an artificial horizon like we do here, because your ears will tell, your body will tell you something different. Like if you're accelerating, you think you're climbing, etc., etc., because the follicles in your ears will lie to you. That's why the instruments are so important. So that's what we're going to be playing with today. Now, so let's tell you the rest of the plan here. I'll just disable the eye tracker. We're coming back to that, don't worry. So let's just disable the tracker there now. That's fine. Here's the plan. Using the eye tracker. This window here, we're in Oxford. And what we're going to do is we're going to take off either way. It doesn't matter. I'm going to come around to the south. We're going to play around with the tracker. I'll talk about why I think it's very handy and very interesting. You'll be the decider of that. Then we're going to come back in. We're going to do. We're going to tune before we go to 367.5. I don't know if it'll give me the decimal. That might be a problem, folks. There's a problem with Microsoft Flight Simulator. And that could be the following. My apologies. Oh, I've got so many windows open. It's so difficult. Now, 367 would be fine, but with the decimal 5 there, see the decimal 5? That's going to be an issue, I think. We might have to go somewhere else, because at the moment in Microsoft Flight Sim, if I got to try and tune that in... Oh, it does have a decimal. Oh, it does have a decimal. We can use the decimal. Maybe that's the update. That's an update I did for the Garmin 1000. So make sure you've updated this to get the decimal place. So that's fine. So that's no big deal. I panicked a little bit there. I know. Now, so what we're going to do is we're going to come down to the south. We're going to join the ADF here on 367.5. We're going to come in. We'll be coming from the south. So we'll do a direct entry for the hold. We're going to have my stopwatch here. Make sure I can work it. No, it's done that thing again. Come on. Mode. Sorry, I know you can't see what I'm doing. Got my trusty stopwatch here. I'm going to do rate 1 turn for 1 minute. 3 degrees per second. I'm going to come out for about another minute when I join. And then I'm going to do 1 hold after the join. And then another hold. And then we're going to come out from a heading of that is... What's that heading? Oh, no, sorry. I'm going the wrong way. So we're going to come out. Then we're going to go to a heading of category A and B, a heading of 359, north, practically, okay? To D6 on the ILS. And then back in, over, around, into the ILS and land. So it won't be a long stream, because really we just want to have a quick look at the Tobii eye tracker, okay? And that's the plan. We won't be looking at very much at all. And hopefully it'll be helpful for you. Okay, so who's on Twitch then? There won't be many. Windage. It sounds a good Windage. Great, you're back. Yellow Shelf is back, I know. I couldn't keep away. Sorry, there's look, I have to remove that spam. It says buy followers, and I do not do that. So I'm going to... How can I get rid of that, you see? I want to get rid of that individual. They won't let me now, for some reason. Do not click on that, folks, whatever you do. I can't get rid of it. It doesn't give me the... It doesn't give me the option. Yeah, let's have what's the plan. The plan is we're going to talk about... We're going to play with the Tobii eye tracker. I got to start the engines. I've just started the engines. We're going to tune in our frequencies. I know I've just said that, folks, but you may have just joined me, and we're going to do this procedure here. I'll talk about it on the way back in. Okay, so we're in Oxford in England. ICAO ident for Echo Golf Tango Kilo. Excuse me. So, let's begin. Let us begin, folks. Let's put our taxi lights on. The strobe should be off. Strobe off, thank you. And we've got fuel. Let's get some lightage going. Let's get some lightage going, which is... Where are the lights for this aircraft? Oh, they're up here, of course. There we go. Come on. That's up all the way, I think. There we go. That's a little bit brighter there. Okay, let's change in frequencies. So you're using the ADF at Oxford, which is 3675. This is a bit finicky. No. So 3. This is the only problem I have. It would be great just to type it in. We can't do that, unfortunately. I want to move the cursor. There, that should be 0. Move the cursor. 3. Six, 7. Oh, very, very finicky. That's the wrong option. The wrong switch. Now I'd be cut off for saying that word. 3, 6. Things have gone crazy in YouTube. 3, 6, 7. Just confirming again. 7 decimal 5. You won't get the decimal unless you update your Garmin. It's an app for that on the store. 367 decimal 5. 3. Let's have a look. 367 decimal 5. Just make doubly sure. That'll stuff everything up. If you get the wrong frequency, folks, enter and enter again to activate it. 3675. Happy days. Now let's tune in, which is much quicker and much easier because I have the SciTech here. Let me make sure you can see everything there. Oops. The ILS, that's the mouse problem with Microsoft since the update with the mouse. So let us put in the ILS is, so you can see it here, the plate is 10835. 10835. Oh, you'll see it up here. Let me get the eye tracker on actually. 10835. Now the eye's gone up a little bit. See, I'm looking directly at the nav there. That's where I'm looking. See that? That's accurate. So that looks like it's kind of looking correctly there now. Yeah, okay, I think that'll do. Okay, that's everything. But first, let's make sure we have bearing 1 set to the ADF. That is correct. Is that logical? What I'm looking at there. And the beauty, I'll put this up as we're flying, and we can see where we are in space and time on the map here. There we go. So we should see that as heading towards our... There's a beacon there. It's kind of to our northwest? To the west. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of exact. That's fine. That's logical. And let's get the ILS here. So the ILS, we want to come back out of here. We're going to use CDI to change to the localizer 1. So we tuned our frequency. I can get rid of this here now, the ADM. Get rid of that. I want the ADF here as well. Sorry, the DME. That's here. DME, please. That is not displaying anything. It usually would because we're quite close to it. Let's just check the frequency. 10835, I said. Oh, I didn't make it active. Now it's green, it's active. Now we should get something on the DME. And it's identified, is it? DME, and we're getting 0.3 of a mile. That would make sense. Okay, we'll identify it later on when we get up in the air. So that's that done. Happy days. So we're ready to go now, folks. We're ready to take off and do that procedure. Yellow Shaft says it's cool. I'm glad. I think it's cool. I want to see what you think, because if I do any IR flying, I intend to have this on for streams and videos and things like that and whatnot. Yeah, it's the Tobii Andrew W on YouTube. Oh, the Tobii eye tracker. Yes, that's correct, Tobii. Greetings all from Las Vegas, Nevada. Randall Ra. Greetings to you. Zombie Snack is on as well. Perhaps your Irish eyes need to be smiling. Yeah, I wonder can you put little smiley faces instead of the red blob, you know, which is cool. Pennsylvania, disable the eye tracker. Oh, yeah, I see that. Okay, great. Good. Okay, so hopefully everything's recording. Hopefully you can hear me. Everything looks good from here, and you're all happy to go. And welcome to Late Night with Gripper Sim. Well, it is late night now for me. Those of you who just joined us, my stream is cut off YouTube, and I'm going again. I ain't giving up until it's finished. Okay. Now, for those of you who don't know what I'm doing, I'll do this when I'm traxing, shall I? Yes. Picture button says yes. So a little bit of power breaks off. Good. So I'm looking at, for those of you who are new to flight simming or don't know what's going on and you're just curious and you're watching this, when you're flying an aircraft visually like this, you know what's up from down, okay? You're always looking at the horizon, right? I'm looking at the horizon now. See, the horizon is just across here, okay? I'm looking at the horizon. When you're up in the air, you know what's up and what's down. But when you're in cloud and IFR, instrument flight rules, you don't know what's up and what's down. when you're flying IFR, you have something like this, the Garmin 1000. And that'll tell you the sky and the ground. But even with that, that's not the end of it. It's quite tricky. First of all, your head can play tricks with you. Okay, you can think that here it's telling you you're flying straight and level. You might think you're climbing. You might think you're descending. You might think, moreover, you're turning right. Okay, but you're looking here and you're going, I don't trust this because my body's telling me I'm turning right, so I'm going to turn left. What actually you've done is you're straight and level. Now you're turning left, and then you're all over the shop. You spiral into the ground. That's what happens. Can happen without training. So the other thing is, which really I'm excited about this eye tracker, is your scan. It's very important because I'm going to show you on the way out here from Oxford. You know, you're fixated here on the altitude, for example. You're trying to fix that, okay? But then, of course, everything else goes out. Your speed goes out, your heading goes out. And you'll see me do this today because this is my third time now doing IR for God knows how long. So I'm rusty. So I'm practicing my scan really today and a little bit of IR procedures. So what your scan should be, look at the red blob now. You get your attitude. Now I'm going to stop here before I take off and just give you a quick briefing of what I'm going to do with regards to this and how it works. Okay, if you're kind of new to it, your scan is very important in instrument flight rules. Because if you get one thing right, everything else goes wrong, and then you're stuffed. You're all over the shop. So just taxied here now. I'm going to come to this holding point and we'll switch everything on that we need to switch to on. And I'll come to halt here. Oh, now, so I'm going to zoom in here. This is how we're going to be flying for most of the trip. Okay, I'm going to have this. That's all I'm going to see. Okay, so I will be looking. If it would please do it. Maybe, yeah. No, the tracker isn't looking at where I wanted to look to, folks. It was doing better earlier. That's good. That's not good. Good. So when you get the Tobii eye tracker, I'm looking at 420 here. That should be. Oh, I pressed the B button. Q&H was not set, folks. So we're 320 feet above sea level now. That's the correct Q&H in here. So when you're flying, I'm looking here now about 1.5 degrees, maybe 2 degrees. That's 2.5 degrees. That's 5, and that's 10, as you can see. So about 2 degrees and 1.5 degrees in cruise speed of this aircraft will keep you straight and level. Okay. This is your vertical speed indicator here, and this is your altitude. Okay. So what you're doing is you're getting your attitude, and then you're looking here and you're adjusting it. Now I'm actually looking over here, so I might have to do that little thing again to fix the eye tracker. You've got to do this. Let me show you. This is very frustrating, actually. I don't know if it's working that well. Improve calibration. So I think you got to do this a number of times. So effectively, when you're calibrated, you can see my eyes there moving, right? But here's the problem, and it's not the Tobii's fault, right? It says move closer, right? So if I move my seat as forward as I can. So maybe about 4 inches it wants me to be sitting forward for it to work properly. But I can't move the TV any closer because of my rig. So it gets me to look at these little spinny things. And hopefully it will improve it. Now that's accurate. That's accurate. And that's accurate. It'll do it one more time. I think, yeah, I think it'll do it one more time. So up here, see, it's below now. It's the red is below where I'm actually looking. Now it's above where I'm looking. So that's the problem. So you need to be able to have the right distance between your eyes, the tracker, you know. It's just impossible for me to do it. So that it did work for earlier on. It will work now. Just a question of messing around. No. So I don't know if I move closer here, which I can't do. It's even worse. So I think the trick is, if you can't move your monitor closer, is to actually do it. So I'm going to move forward about 2 inches. I'm going to move forward here, and then I'm going to do it. There we go. Right, it should accept that. Oh no, it won't. It'll be 3 inches forward. There we go. So I'm going to keep that position, keep my head still. 1, 2, 3, 4. So unless you can get your monitor closer to you, it's going to be a bit of a problem. 1, 2, 3. Last one. Oh no, it's done. Right. So, you know, a bit messy, but you'll get. Do you know what I can do as well? I can make the circle a little bit bigger. So that's accurate. That's accurate. That's accurate. I'm looking at W here in the west. I'm looking down here. It's a little bit. Okay, you'll get the idea, folks. You'll know what I'm looking at. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. Okay, great. We're good. We're good. We're golden. Okay, strobes. Let's move forward. So let's take the. Let's add a little bit of power. It is very interesting. It's very interesting tech. It is very interesting tech because, you know, if you had an instructor station when you're, and now I don't teach IR. I do to an extent. I teach IR flying. Yes, I do 5 hours with each PPL student. But if you're in the simulator, in which they do for commercial training, if you can see in the instructor station where the student's eyes are looking, it might be a little bit helpful, you know. You know. I'd like to sit down a little bit lower, actually. Is it Alt? No. That won't let me move the keys anymore. Oh, yeah, update 7 is a real pain in the neck, folks. It's been the worst update ever. I think. Oh, easy now, Gripper. Easy now. Okay. This is pretty much, this is very experimental now. See, I'm looking at the airspeed there, but it doesn't matter because we're going to zoom right into it. Okay, so we've got our flaps set to take off. Are they? Yes. Burp. And YouTube still with us? Are you still with us on YouTube? Because we cut off last time. It looks easier to work with than to track IR calibration curves, at least. And yes, but do note that I can't get my monitor closer, so I'm not going to blame Tobii for that. Are you using camera mounted on your monitor? Yes, just below. Let me show you one more time there, because you may have just joined us. There it is there. It's just under the monitor. It's apparently it should be slightly below your eye line. There it is there. You know? So that's where it is. I just want you to see what I'm doing with the throttles. Now also you'll notice I'm flying with my fingertips. Okay, none of this is going to be going. If you're doing this, you're stuffed. It's all over. It's like this. Little fingertips, you know. Andrew W says, I'm excited to see your instructional content with this. I don't think I ever heard of a flight sim YouTuber talk about actual proper scanning procedures, laughing out loud. Yeah, it's really for me, Andrew, you know. I haven't done IR stuff for a while. It's easy enough, but the procedures, I haven't done those for a while, like NDB's approaches and stuff like that. So just for those of you who've joined us, this is what we're doing. We're in Oxford. I'm going to take off. I'm going to come down south. We're going to chat and play with the tracker and just configure it a little bit more. Then I'm going to come back in. I'm going to do what's called a direct approach. So this is the hole going this direction. You don't have to follow this line exactly. Okay. But I'm going to come over. It's a rate 1 turn. So you'll turn 180 degrees in 1 minute. 3 degrees per second. I'll show you how that's done. And then you go out for 1 minute. Then you take a right turn for 1 minute. And then you come back over the beacon. And that's one hold. I'm going to do a second hold after that. I'm going to come down around again. And I'll talk you through it as I'm doing it. There's a lot of ground school before this, so I don't know if it's going to make sense to you. Then we're going to come out with category A. We're going to come out at a northerly heading of 359 on the ADF. And we're going to come around then onto the ILS and come in for a landing. That'll be the stream. Great. Okay. Zombie Snack is saying scanning seems a lot easier now with the PDF. Yes, it is. This is pretty much what I learned on really when I did my IR training. Now I do feel I'm sitting a little bit high. You know, maybe, yeah, I do feel I'm sitting a little bit high. So they've changed. Oh, they haven't, have they? Oh, they haven't. No, that's moving up and down. I used to be able to move Oh, I am. Great. Okay, I've done it. I should be sitting about there. That's fine. So let's take off and we'll worry about it as we go. The localizer there. Have I said the localizer? 110.9. No, it's 108.35. Did I put it on the active? 108.35. 108.35. And there's the identifier there. We got it. Good. Now, I just want to make sure I've got the course bar. It should be automatic. The inbound is... the inbound track for the ILS is going to be... is that 191? 191. 191. Negative. So that's interesting. I didn't have to do that the last time. Localizer, please. Course bar, please. I'm on the course bar. It seems to be set there. That's the heading. I don't want the heading. I want the course bar, please. Okay, I'm going to have to manually move the course bar. So 191. Which is down here. Just have that set up. I should have entered the runway until I had that set up, folks. See, it's not looking down where I'm looking at. 191 is set. There we go. Okay, good. Happy days. Let's go. Let's add power. Stop should be down there, by the way. And off we go. Full power. Now, I am looking there. That's exactly where I'm looking, at the end of the runway. A little bit of left rudder. Up we go. Out of trim. There we go. Localizer is reading something sensible. It says don't sync there for some reason. I don't know why. The trim wheel on the Bravo is just a little bit... It's not very sensitive. Oh, I want 10 degrees. Gear up. Okay, good. So I'm going to turn to the south now. I want 10 degrees. So let's put our eyes inside now so you can see what I'm seeing. Let's configure this as I'm flying. I would like to move over here, please. Now, you see where I'm looking? I want 10 degrees. That's accurate what I'm looking at there. Great. I'm happy about that. Flaps up. 10 degrees, please. That's it. I'm looking at the altitude now, and I'm looking at the speed. Brilliant. It's working well now. It's not looking very well further down. I'm looking at 022. Now I'm looking at the little white airplane. I'm looking here. See, it's not quite... Go on. I'm looking at south now, so it's not quite good. As good as I'd have liked. But we're climbing. I'm going to set the altitude now. We're going to fly this manually all the way. We're going to go to 3,500... We'll say 4,000 feet. 4,000 feet. We've got the Q&H set. Flaps are up, gears up. We'll take a left turn. Now, what's a rate 1 turn? A rate 1 turn. We're going to go at 120 knots, for argument's sake, okay? That's what I want in the crew for the moment. We'll say 120, right? So, should really be 120 this. So I lower the nose. I've got full power, so we get 120, so maybe 8.5 degrees or so. So when we're turning a rate 1 turn, you take your speed, divide it by 10, which is 12. And add 7, which is 19. So 20 degrees rate 1 turn. All turns are done in rate 1 turns in commercial flying. So I'm turning to the south, and I should be using my heading book. But thankfully, I have a side tech here, and I can switch it actually manually. Okay, so that's good. So you can see where my eyes are going quite accurately now. That's good. So we're just coming up to our altitude now. Got a southerly heading. I got my bug set to 180. Oh, a little bit late there. This, you know, I went 80 feet too high. Bringing the power back for 120. Now, usually my setting for the power is over here, over to the right. But I want to look close into the screen because it's not as accurate when I'm looking out. But look, I'll just guess. So about 120 knots. So heading to the south, happy days. I'm getting, have a look here. There we go. That's why we don't have the RPM, so you can see what I'm looking at here. So you can see, I've got a It's not really working very well for me, folks. That's where we are. And we're getting it. The beacon's off to our west, and the west is here. So that's the beacon in there. Let's zoom in a little bit. There you go. So we're getting good indications now. We are getting the DME. We're 2 miles away, and the ILS is here. So that's actually coming from the ILS. That reading here. Now that might disappear. That's disappeared because we're nowhere near the glide slope, which is interesting. So we should be able to pick up the DME anyway, but that doesn't really matter at the moment. Okay, so I'm flying manually straight and level, okay, and I want a heading of south. I need to calibrate that again. Heading of south. Bear with me. There we go. That might do it. Actually, look at north there. Okay, so here's the scan, right? Attitude. What did I say? It was 2.5 degrees. Now I've got to climb because look, I'm getting low now. I'm 70 feet too low. Or 80 feet too low, right? So I'm going to fix that. But I'm keeping an eye on my speed because I'm raising the nose. The speed will die a little bit. But I want to get my altitude. Right, I want 120 knots. I'll add a little, tiny bit of power, right? Now, I said about 1.5 degrees will keep me level. Now look, it's black there, the vertical speed indicator. So that's my picture there. For straight and level flight at 120 knots. And I have to take a bit of power back to keep around about 120. I'm ever so slightly taking the... See, my eyes are constantly moving. I got my attitude. Check my altitude. I'm a little bit too low, 20 feet too low now. So I got 1 knot, so I'll raise the nose. Use that to gain altitude. And there we go. So you see my eyes are constantly moving now. Right. Now, I haven't checked my heading for a while, did I? No. So my heading should be south. I'm 10 degrees off. So you see, that was, I missed that out in the scan. So I'm descending now. So you're constantly, you see, constantly, and I'm quite tired now tonight. It's now quite late, but I couldn't leave it alone, folks. There we go, and there's our altitude. We'll get that 1 or 2 knots back now when we level off. There we go, and you see, I'm looking at my. We'll just look down a bit further. So the range of the tracker isn't great sometimes, but I think you're getting the idea, and I am. Do you know what I could do here? But that's okay. Sometimes it's better, you know. But I'm not sitting close to the monitor. Okay, now let's review what we want to do. Okay, so we're off the map here. We're down south somewhere. So I'm going to turn in, and I'm going to have to get to this beacon here. This is the beacon here, and it's 367.5, and it's identified as OX. Okay. Now the thing about this is, I'm going to turn to. We'll turn to the right. Okay. And when I turn to the right, I know I'm going to lose some speed, so I'm going to have to raise the nose. But I'm going to lose maybe about 5 to 10 knots here. But that's okay. I'm going to keep the speed setting. And I'm going to use my heading book, roughly to where I want to go to. No, don't descend at the turn. Right one turn. There's the right one there. Right here. Let's see, measure a little bit here in the sky. We're way off the chart now, that's why. Leave that there for you so you can see what's going on. Now I'm going to follow it directly in. Now what I'm looking at is this blue needle here. That's what I'm looking at. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a distance here. I should get the distance. That's probably me not setting something up. Something I haven't set up here in the DME. Because you usually can get the DME. Something. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay, so we're coming directly into. I just turn this here from our position. It's pretty much north. We're down here somewhere with it. We're down here somewhere. Okay. Altitude, speed is fine. See, altitude there is a little bit off. 60 feet too low. Now I have to admit to you as well, in the simulator, it's much more sensitive than the real thing. It's much more, you know, difficult in a simulator. Now, I'm coming in. I want a northerly heading. This is our actual track inbound now to this area here. Okay, here. Yeah, that's true. So what you do is, it's actually very distracting with that thing there. Look, it's not doing what I want it to look. It's not doing what I want. I'm looking here, you see. It's a little bit off. I'm looking at 004 here. See that 005? That's my inbound track northerly in towards the beacon. But I want northerly exactly. So I'm going to turn to the right. And it's push the tail, pull the head. So if I turn here, it'll push the needle over. So in other words, there we are here. Look, I should be over here. There's me there now, right? So I want to come in exactly north. Okay, heading speed's fine. 5 knots too slow, probably because I climbed a little bit. See, it's very finicky in the simulator. So I want this to read 000. So you see I'm looking again at all my attitude there. It should be like this. There we go. Got 120 knots there now. 015 degrees. And then we got 002. So it's pushing the head of the needle, the blue needle, over to the left, which will eventually have it at 0. Good. Trimming forward. It's very... For some reason in Microsoft Flight Simulator, it starts to retrim for you because you know it's got these easy settings for people. Keeps resetting the trim. Another issue with the update. I need a little bit of extra power there. Now we're reading 359, so see I haven't been down here looking at that. So we want to get that needle heading north, so I'm going to go to the other side of the needle. Now let me get my stopwatch ready. We're going to enter the hold, as you can see here. We're going to enter the hold, and of course I've lost 80 feet just because I didn't look at what was happening over at my altitude, see? So speed isn't going to be a problem. Now, there we go. Turn on to it. My bug should be on north. There we go. There we are. Now, I expect that needle to flip over very quickly. The blue needle, what I want to have happen is the blue needle... Oh, we're overhead now. It's going to flip over to the right side. See, I'm too low. Get that altitude back. So I'm push the head. We're making headway at our altitude. Getting very close now. That needle will flip right over. It'll start on the right side now. There it goes. Bam. Start the watch. Timer started. Rate 1 turn. Don't lose altitude in the turn. Rate 1 turn is 3 degrees per second. Now I should be on a heading of 156, which I'll put in the bug. 156 in 1 minute. Sorry, in a minute. 156. It's my heading bug there, what I'm looking at now. So I'd lose 5 knots in a 20-degree turn, that's fine. My rate 1 turn. That's 20 degrees there now. 40 seconds into it. So I must have oversteered it. Oh, it's going out of trim again, folks. That's the problem. It's out of trim. So that's just about a minute there now. 5. There we go. 1 minute's up. Boom. 156. We're a beam. Start the watch again. 1 minute out. Now normally you wouldn't have the plater like this. It would be great. Now, what's happening here? We got a 7-knot headwind. That's nothing really to write home about. I'm not really worried about the wind. But we should be turning less. See the way we've been blown in towards... We've been blown in towards here. We don't want that. So I should have stopped the turn at about 147 or 8. 150 even. Altitude's fine, speed's okay. I'll add a tad bit of power. So we're now 38 seconds into it. So the wind does have an effect. If I didn't make that adjustment for the wind, we'd be down here now somewhere. So now that minute's up, we're going to take a right-hand turn. We got a little bit of a headwind. I don't like that wind arrow there. Let's change that wind arrow. I don't like that. So I'm going to go to option 2 there. Maybe option 1. No, I don't like that one. Option 1 there. A little bit of a tailwind. Okay, let's get the plates back there for you. There we go. So we're kind of okay. Doesn't have to be exact. So we got a bit of a headwind. I'm going to go on for another 15. Okay, so that's a minute up. It's actually a minute and 10 there because of the wind. So I'm taking a right turn. And I want you to see, you don't have to keep this actual shape here at all. That's just a depiction. Okay. So I'm taking a right turn, and it should take 30 seconds to come onto a course of... let's just check everything here. See, I've gone up too high there. Let's see, 156. 336. So heading of 336. Let's get the bug. Now, we don't need the bug, really, but you should use it if you have it, I guess. We want to come in with the needle. You see the blue needle here? It would just show me. Oh, I might as well go there. I'll go there. 336, and you can see here 336 should appear here as well. That's where the needle is actually pointing. So there it is. I've gone past it a little bit. So I stopped the right one turn. But don't worry, we can fix that. So I'm going to go past the needle now because it's push the head. In other words, if my heading is here, it'll push the head over to the left. It's hard to explain as you're doing it. Speed's fine. 339, I want 336, and the needle will bounce right over. 336, please. Get down there and fix that somehow. No, 1, 2. There we go. 337. 336, let's go back to it. A little bit aggressive. There we go. 334, 335, that'll do. What's the wind doing? We've got a little wind to the right, so I'll maybe go 337. 335 is no good. 336, please. Let's just keep heading with 336 here, and that'll sort it out. There's my heading 336 now in the white. There we go. That's it. Get my attitude. Speed, attitude, altitude's fine. Let's see if I can adjust the screen a little bit here, so. Okay. Good, good, good. I'm getting very close to it now. I want that needle to flip over. 336. 338 now. That's not good enough. There we go. We're right over it now. It's going to flip over. It's just going to appear. It's just to the right. See it? Bam. Brilliant. Okay. 1 minute turn. Let's see how this works. 19 degrees. Right one turn. Let's get this accurate this time. See my eyes moving all over the place? Now, I'll tell you what's tricky is turning the needle, the heading bug as you're doing it. And you see the heading bug? I'm moving the heading bug to 156. 156, the heading there. That should be 1 minute. 33 seconds into it. Now, where's the wind coming from? So I'm going to go to a heading of... a little bit less than that, I think. I'd rather just tell me where the wind's coming from. It bothers me. Just tell me where... There we go. That makes more sense. That's the best one there. So I want to know where the wind is coming from. The wind's coming from 037. Altitude. That's 1 minute. See, it's 1 minute and 10. And I stuffed that up because I was looking elsewhere. You see, when you mess with something else. 156, not I went right past there. See, I turned in again too much. I should be up here. So I should have stopped at heading 145, I'm thinking. Or 150 at least. So I'm coming back out a little bit here now. I'm going to keep it at 140. I've got 28 seconds to go outbound now on this one. So after this loop here, I stuffed that up. See, I got distracted there. I kept the turn going while I was moving the heading bug and whatnot. Now what I'm going to do is I can gently go back to 156 now because I overcooked it. We're going to come around here again. See, over here it's not accurate. See that? I'm going to come around and I'm going to come out at a heading of north. Now we're really much where we should be, back to 156. So the wind is coming from this way. 036, which is 036 is here. So we've been pushed a little bit out. But it's only 7 knot wind. It's not going to make any difference. If it's 20 knots now, it'll make a huge difference. So I'm coming out a little bit further now, but a little bit more. So now I'm going to take a right turn into the ILS. Usually it's a minute. It doesn't have to be really exact. As long as I get it right. Okay, now. Let's see if we can get this one. In fact, I'm going to pause for a second. I'll tell you why now. Let us go to general options. The way the needle flipped there, when I flew the real thing, it looked a bit better, and I'll tell you why it's not looking as good as I want it. Because glass cockpit refresh rate, I'm going to put that in ultra. Because the needle usually, it's smooth, you know. It's just not high. Medium, high, ultra. Oh, it's only got high. Okay. All these changes that Microsoft make. Now, where was I? Where am I? Yeah, we're turning. So I want a heading of... Oh, of course, I paused the sim now, that messed up my time. So I want a heading of inbound 336. Oh. 336 here. Let's get the heading book over. 336. Didn't quite cook that very well. I've gone past it, so I'm going to go past the arrow. I know I climbed there, I just spotted it, as you can see. And we want down here 336. So we're going to push the head. Push the head, pull the tail. That's 338. Trimmed here. No, not exactly trimmed, folks. 237. Oh, I'm late now turning onto it. Don't worry, we'll get it. We're going to get it. Exact. Really exact. I'll have to choose head. 336. There we go. Get that bug heading, putting in there. Now 337. 336, please. There we go. Speed's fine. I'm not going to give it about 5 knots. It'll change. We're going to lose that 5 knots when we climb back up to our altitude. We're on 336, 336, 336. There it is there. I hate having to use the mouse. I'll have to figure out. I don't think it's the Tobii. I can only assume it's me because I can't move my monitor closer. So we're on the inbound track now. As you can see over here. There we are. And I want that needle to flap over 336. I'm 338 now at the minute. 339. That ain't good enough. Let's just get that on. It's tricky when you're chatting as well. It really is very tricky when you're chatting and trying to explain what you're doing as you're doing it. Now that is not good enough. I'm off it now. Let's just be a bit more aggressive. It's going to be to our right. 336 to 339 there, 338, 337. There we go. It's over to the left now. But close enough. I'm not going to chase the needle all the way around. So you can see it here. I move reasonably quickly. Now let's take a heading of north. Which they want 359 and they're going to get 359. So we're going to go at 359 to D6.5. Here's D6.5. That's the distance, 6.5 nautical miles. Now, pull the tail. That is not our heading. We're not on the right heading. So I'm going to take a more of a right turn here and pull the tail over towards my heading. Because this should be on 359. New turn. Zoom in a bit more here, that'd be great. There we go. Now, if I just keep 359, we'll be on 359. Now you can see we're a little bit off the line there, but we'll get back onto it. Doesn't have to be exact. So we're going to come out to, there's our DME down here. I wish my eyes would go exactly where I want it. I lost an awful lot of altitude with looking, you know, telling you about pulling the tail. So you'll notice my eyes didn't go there. And when I watch this later on, I'm going to kick myself. But we're getting back up to it now. So 2.9, we want to go to 6.5. We've got a bit of a headwind, so it's not much of a problem. Now let's just, the course should be 191. I've got that set up. That's all good. 3.3 out. It's fine. It's been a long day, folks. Very tired. You shouldn't do this when you're very tired. 3.7. Let's just trim the darn thing up a little bit more. There we go. So you can see here where my hand is. I don't want to do much. I want the aircraft to do everything for me. Or I want to set up the aircraft so it does everything for me. If that makes any sense. Course is 249. That's fine. That's all good. 120 knots. Altitude's good. Oh yeah, we want to descend. That's okay. Our base altitude for the localizer is 1800 feet. Yeah, descending's quite important, really, you know. Really is kind of important. But don't worry, it'll all be fine. Altitude 1800 feet. I'm changing my book here for the altitude. Here we go, 1800. Let's get on to our northerly heading again. I went a bit off that there that time. There we go. 1200 feet a minute. Who's to know? 120 knots, adding a bit of power. Took off a little bit too much power. Usually you'll have a power setting and you know exactly where to set it to. There we go. Now we are now at 7D, so we're half a mile out, big deal. Turning right, we'll get our 1800 feet for the ILS. We want to make sure we approach the glide slope. There's the diamond, see the diamond? We're below the glide slope. Now I can get rid of the DME. I don't need that anymore. Sorry, not the DME. We can get rid of the bearing there. That's gone. Turning here. Not bad. Not bad. Keep descending though, Gripper Sim. There we go. Keep my stopwatch away. Feet on pedals. I'm going to... now what I'm doing here is I'm waiting for this localizer line, which is this coming out here, the beam coming out here. I'm waiting for that to come in, so I'm going to straighten up for a moment. I'm getting to my altitude, 200 feet to go. Coming down. They're coming down. Should really be over here. There we go. In it comes. Power, attitude, trim. A little bit late. That's okay. Now I'm going to figure out the wind. It's only 5 knots though. 1,800 feet. We've got a tailwind, 6 knots. I'm not going to crap about that, but it is very hard to do an ILS with a tailwind. You can do it, it depends on the aircraft. Okay, so let's sit it there. I'm waiting for the glide slope. That's exactly where I'm looking. That's great. Yeah, heading a bit closer. I want to figure out what the wind is going to do to me. So I've got a tailwind. It doesn't matter. You know, it's not strong enough. The wind isn't strong enough at all to affect me. So I want to come in at a heading of 191. That's easy enough. I'm going to keep the old heading bug out of the way. I could put the flight director on, but no. That'll make things too easy, won't it? It'll tell me exactly what to do. Here comes the glide slope. Speed's a little bit slow. So this is where I want the aircraft to fly itself now. See the localizer bar here? I want that perfectly straight here. So the wind might be blowing me in a little bit. Oh, I'm descending. Stop that. Stop that. All I can do here is stay pretty much level. Get the glide slope indicator here. 10 flaps. Flaps wants to be to balloon. I've got to shove the nose forward. Quite a big deal here. And get at least 800 feet a minute. Loads of trimming to go on here. I'm looking for the 800 feet a minute. I want it to be trimmed. The trimmer is not very good. Too fast. I want 120 knots. Taking power back. All this messing about. Gear down. All this messing about. Okay, I'm slowing down. Okay, good. Get to the right. No, not 1500 feet. Now, once you get settled, you see so many things to figure out. Oh, my speed, I want to get on that diamond. There, 800 feet a minute. Where is it? I'm looking here at my attitude. What attitude gives me 800 feet a minute? Maybe it's 500 feet a minute. I haven't looked at the plates properly. Okay, 500 feet a minute. Trim. I'm using the thumb trimmer here now. If I don't get that, it's going to be very difficult. I don't want to chase it. 500 feet a minute. Oh, no place is going out there. No place is going out there. I'm getting very close now. 400 feet is the decision altitude. I'm a little bit below the glide slope. See how sensitive it is? Let's have a look out. That happened very, very quickly with the... Let's go around. That happened very, very quickly with the tailwind. I didn't like that. I could have got it in. But we'll do a quick whip around. We'll try it again, shall we? Let's see if we can use the other runway. It was only, you know, the tailwind was only 3 knots. So I think I was going too fast anyway. So I'm going to whip it around. Get rid of the old eye tracker. Let's get the old thing going. I'm going to take a left. We'll have a look at the airport. I'll just show you the tracker as we go around. Flaps up. Gears up. Flaps are up. And we can kind of have a look around and see the runway. There it is. There's the runway. There we go. There's the moon. I'm looking at the moon. So it does still use your eye tracker. I'm going to go full welly now. I could have got it down, but I wanted a nice smooth landing. I was going too fast. I think on the ILS, I'll take it. Take it a bit handier this time. I'm really flying along now. Now the trimmer keeps going out of whack, and the reason this is happening is something to do with the update. I don't understand. It's what it does is put back. I don't know what's going on with it, but it keeps undoing the trimmer on me, which is very, very frustrating. Once I set the trimmer I want it set. Look, it's all the way nose forward. I'm looking at this little line here. See the little line here? That trim was fully forward there. I did not have that trimmed fully forward. Now it's going to neutral. Look. So that's just a bit of a problem I'm having with the simulator at the moment. That's neutral there. See takeoff? That there is takeoff. Okay. So we'll whip it around into the ILS again. It won't take long at all. I don't know why it's doing that. It's doing absolutely crazy things on me. Okay. We're going up to... Oh, we level off here. Let's zoom in again and join the ILS one more time. Now, the nose has gone all the way... Okay, let's switch this off. That's making things very difficult. So you've got to switch the tracker on and off. Let's come down here to... Oh, we'll go back to 1800 feet. That was messy. That was a little more messy than I would have liked. Let's see if I get this trimmed here. I did notice the DA42 is very awkward to trim sometimes. The DA62, I know I keep saying the DA42 because that's just stuck on my head, the DA42. So we're going to have to take a left turn to join the ILS. Descend back to 1700 feet. And the runway is off to our left, if you can't see it anymore. No. So let's try that again. I'll keep coming down. Let's see if I get 500 feet a minute here now. Let's switch the eye tracker on there again. And let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, eye tracker's looking in the right place. It's not looking down enough though. Coming down to 1700 feet. Let's have just check the plate there. 1700 base now. 1800. Excuse me. 1800 base. That was an exact go around procedure at all. I just whipped it around. At power. Oh, I don't need to add power. 142 knots is fast enough. There we go. Now the flight director came on again on its own accord. I did not switch on the flight director button. Do you see what I mean with the update? It's causing me havoc here. So it just resets the trim and everything. Flight director off, please. There we go, 1800 feet. I want 120. The cruise. See, it's setting the trim. I know it is. I'll tell you what's happening. Right? I'll tell you what's happening. If I go into... control... This is just the update. It'll be fixed. If I go into assistance options. If I go into piloting. Oh, it has saved it. Okay, okay. I'm going to tell you there, folks. It's resetting stuff on me. 7.7 miles out. Let's get our view back again so you can see what I'm looking at. 7.8 miles out. Okay, so let's go to 10 miles out. Let's get it settled from 10 miles out because we are going to have a bit of a tailwind. Add a bit of power to get the 120 knots. So I'm going to go from 120 to 110 on the ILS. So that's what I want on the ILS, 110. There we go, there's 120 knots now. So I'm going to take a left turn onto the ILS. Off we go, let's swing it around. Oh, it's 8, 9, okay, we'll go 9 miles out. There we go, 20 degrees. All the flaps are up. Yep. Climb. Trimming goes up and it comes back down again. There we go. That's lovely. Now let's get that one 1800 feet. It's going to accelerate a bit. That's fine. This is not a proper go around procedure, by the way. I know that much. I know. There we go. It's coming in. Coming in. 9.2 miles. Plenty. Let's not overcook it. The trimming, I have to remember, is not very sensitive on this. The real thing is incredibly sensitive and much easier. Get to your 1800 feet, please. There's our tailwind to 5 knots. No big deal. Shouldn't be a big deal. Now, we want to slow down. Television wants to turn off, folks. There we go. I'll turn off now. There we go. 1800 feet. I said 110 knots. Let's take it back to 110. Trimmy, trimmy, trim, trim. Don't lose your altitude. There we go. I'm going to use my heading bug this time. So it's descending on me there. As I'm slowing down. 191, 191. Okay, good. There's our 1800 feet. We're 6.8 miles out. Okay, good. There's 110 knots. So my attitude for the speed is 2.5 degrees for 110 knots roughly. Now, if you see my hand over to the right here, I don't want to be doing too much with it. Trimmer is a pain in the neck. .5 miles out. Where's the glide slope? Feet is very low. It's not. It doesn't give you much time at all to get set up. You know, we're only 4.9 miles out now. The wind is really nothing to speak of, except for the tailwind. 110 knots. Slow it down a little bit. Get ready with 10 flaps. Go outside the heading bug. 10 flaps. Stuff that nose down. Take a bit of power off. Let's get some rate of descent going. .500 feet a minute at least. At least 500 now. I'll make it 8 to get on the glide slope. Taking a bit of power back. Gear down. Power back. Yeah, let's get that to 800 feet a minute. I think 800 feet a minute will do it. Not 9, but 8. 10 knots now. Add a bit of power. There we go. There we go. We're on it. I'm locked in. 105 will do. I don't want to go messing around with the power too much. 400 feet is the decision altitude. There we go. Okay. Not bad. Not bad. 500 feet a minute. Seems to be doing it. I'm going at 6. That's why the time we're going below the glide slope. That's the diamond there. 100 knots. I won't go any slower than 100 knots. Add a bit of power. It's going to get so much more sensitive. 1.4 miles out now. 720 feet. 500 feet a minute, please. It's much easier to trim the real thing, I have to be honest with you. 500 feet, not 7. It's going to be up and downy now. 0.7 miles to go. 500 feet. 400 feet, we're going to go around, which is now. There we go. Nope. Nope.
Well, that was a tough one. We might as well ask for an inspection.
Oh, almost went off. almost went off. My brake's not working. Oh my god, what happened there? What the hell happened there? I couldn't look up with the mouse. I couldn't look up with the mouse. I didn't record the damn landing and I can't see what went wrong there. Let's do that again. I couldn't look up. I couldn't. The mouse, it's driving me mad. I'm recording the next one. Come on. So, I was down here. Okay, and I wanted to look up at the mouse. So I hit the right mouse button and nothing happened. I couldn't look up. And I knew it was late. And I looked up. No, nothing happened. Jesus. Now, so, as a result, I went way below. I was way below. Let's hit the B button. Hit the... Yeah. Q&H is fine. I went way below 400 feet. Now I'm going to have to come a lot higher to get back onto this because the aircraft is going to drop out of the sky. The problem is...
Sync rate.
Couldn't look up. Don't fall out of the sky. That was a crash. That was a crash for sure, no doubt about it. Okay, we're 9.6 miles out again. Couldn't look up. Let's get back on it again. And that's why your decision altitude is so important. I'm going to hit B here again just to make sure it wasn't a Q&H issue. 3071. Yeah, 3071 is the Q&H here. So let's get on it again. Let's get to 1800 feet. Let's just dive down here and get to our 8. Let's actually go to... I can't believe their actual surface is 1800 feet to join the damn ILS. That is bizarre. Let's go back to 1800 feet, take all the power back. Flaps up, gear up. Don't want to look inside, I want to look outside. Yeah, that happened. I admit it. 110 knots. I just want to get below the glide slope now. I'm going to set the base altitude to just so we're not there all day. 2,500, 2,000 feet, hopefully. Let's get our speed. 6 point. Oh, I'm never going to make it now. 6.4. No, I'm not going to make it. It's too close in.
Pull up.
Come out a little bit. You can't approach it from above the glide slope. It's not going to happen for you. There we... No, not quite. Oh yeah, we're below the glide slope now. I said 110 knots. Considering actually, I actually flew it all the way down. I looked up and hit the runway at the same time. But I was on the runway, not in the center line, but, you know, but I was late down the runway. So I went to the end of the runway. 110 knots. Keep it straight. Get to your 2,000 feet. There we go. Now we're on it again. Go. 110 knots. So the nose is going to be 2.5 degrees for level flight. Okay, the glide slope is yet to come down. We're on it. We're locked in. But the trick here is to get that 500 feet a minute. In fact, on the plate it will say, this is going to mess me up now what you see. It's here somewhere. It actually tells you the best way to descend to the plate with the speed you're on. Okay, so we're on the localizer. 5.9 miles out. That speed of 6 knots tailwind makes a big difference. Now, if I could just make sure I look out properly this time. If I can actually raise my head on the sim. 110 knots, please. Not 118 knots. There's quite some coming in there, look. That's 115, take a bit of power back. I'm going to lower the flaps now, and that diamond is where it should be. There. 10 flaps. Stuff that nose down. Stuff the nose down. I remember that. I had to really stuff the nose down when I flew this. Take the power back. Don't be going like a lunatic. 100 knots. 110 knots. Let's get 110 knots. I'm trimming now, not with the wheel. The wheel is too... It's not sensitive enough. I'm using my thumb here to trim it. And that's much easier now. Because the trim wheel of the sim is not doing its job. It's making it difficult. 3.5 miles out. It's 500 feet a minute, not 8. Gear down. That's going to upset things now. Second stage of flaps. See the speed down there now? Adding power. 500 feet a minute. Where should that be? That should be there. 500 feet a minute. 100 knots. I'm happy with 100 knots. Hands off. And this is what I wanted. This is... It's the trim. It's the trim. I'm not sinking. Four flaps. Don't listen to it. 1,000 feet. 2.3 miles to go. Now it's trimmed. So I think using the trim wheel here is doing me a disservice, folks. You know, because it was all up and down, wasn't it? Now it's going to go up and down when we get closer. I'm not going to go outside the heading book. So all I've got to shift there, so don't use the trim wheel here for some reason. Just on the DA42, there's nothing wrong with the controls. This is so much easier now because I'm using the trim wheel. I was using both. Maybe that was the issue. And one was getting confused with the other and resetting the trim. I don't know. But now this is better. This feels much more like what I would like to have. Thank you. You know, look, hands off. That's what I want. That's what should be happening. Okay, so trim a little bit more forward. See? That's easier. Take a little bit of a right turn there. Get on it. 191 will do. There we go, see? That's what I wanted. All the way down. So I think what's happening is... Stop talking. Stop talking, Gripperson. Okay, so I need to look out now, 380. This is the problem as well. I can't look out! There we go. There we go. That just seems like I've just passed the whole runway. Do you know? There we go. There we go. It's the center line. Oh, there it is. So yeah, I was just a bit off the center line there. Just a bit. Where's the lights? Did I put on the lights? I did. Need some lights. So that was a bit better, right? Let's put on the parking brake. Let's put on the parking brake and have a look at the replay. So just before we do the replay, if you don't mind, right? There's the trim wheel there. Now I'm going to press Alt L because I want to know what happened with that terrible landing I did just before there. Right? I was using the trim wheel here. Look how it's not very sensitive, right? But then I use this thumb here. It's much better. Whereas the trim wheel is a bit slow. So I don't know, is I resetting it? I don't think I was trimming at all. I thought that was enough. See the way how many times I've got to turn the wheel here? So I think the it doesn't move fast enough. Besides me being rusty, of course. Let's have a look at the replay, folks, and see what you think of that landing. So I'm going to put it to daylight for the replay. So I'm going to stop the recording, start the replay, pause the replay, move forward. Where were we? Where were the other one? There we go. I'm just changing to daylight so you can see. I was very late down the runway though. That was a definite. Why that was? There we go, a bit of daylight so you can see. Let's have a look outside. And let's continue the replay. Let's get rid of the eye tracker. Let's get some views going. I don't know why it was saying don't sink here. Because it was all fine. We've got around the poppies. I got the full flaps down. And I have to say, yeah, I don't think I was trimmed at all using the actual wheel over here. Because I thought I was and I wasn't. And I kept spinning. I was all spinning the bloody thing all the time. And in the real aircraft, it's much more sensitive. But I made my mistakes as well. But I found it much easier with the actual trim, the electric trim and the control yoke. Just worked for me that time, didn't it? Big difference. Still says don't sink. Doesn't matter. So here we go. Yeah, look at that. We're over the runway, over the runway, over the runway, over the runway, over. There's the touchdown markers. Right past down the touch markers. There it's manual. See the way it bumped there? I'll show you that again. That's when I looked out. So I couldn't see a thing. I looked out and landed. Let's have another look at that. A different angle. You got the sun on our face there. So there, see, I put nose up, that's when I saw it. And I climbed, actually. I couldn't see anything. I wasn't too sure if we even landed on the runway, to be honest. Let's have a look inside the cockpit and re-examine that, why don't we? I think that'd be a good idea, no? Let's have a look in here. Let's go back a little bit. Re-examine that. Pause replay. But it didn't record my head movements, isn't it? I would like it if it record my head movements. So you saw when exactly I looked out there. I'd say I was about 380 feet when I looked out. Probably less than that, because I couldn't... Mouse again. I don't know why I can do it now. So that was fine. I was on it. Look, there's the glide slope there. I remember it going way down all of a sudden. 460, 440. It was about 480. Then it went down. Then went back up again. There it is. And then 380. Now I looked out. See the sudden... Like 300 feet a minute. I pulled back too much. That's what happened there. That's why I was late. But I did stop before the end, thankfully.
Easy does it, Captain.
And no clapping this time. No clapping. No clapping for the passengers, no. No. So there you go. Yeah, interesting. With a tailwind, it's a nightmare. Even the slightest tailwind. It's. I remember that now. Thinking back, tailwinds were very hard. But that was... What do you reckon? Okay-ish. Everyone's probably asleep. Anyway, that's William Kelly. So I didn't look at all the comments at all. Let me scroll back up and say hello to some of the comments there on YouTube there. That is the Tobii tracker, to be honest with you. And that was from William. That's the Tobii tracker I was using, just experimenting with the stream. I was just repracticing, just getting up to scratch if I can with IFR stuff. I'm not very pleased with today, my performance today at all. It's probably, I'm very tired, it's very, very late, but that's no excuse. But I did have a tailwind. I think the trimmer was not... See, it moved there. Did you see? Am I gone mad here? Let's try an experiment here. Let's do it all the way back here, right? Let's trim it up here and just taxi around a little bit. Parker brake off. Let's add a bit of power here. This was happening to me before. The trim would just reset. Do I like the Tobii, William? I can't say, because it could be, you know, it could be me in the setup. In the setup, I think it is working, doing what I want to do. But I'm looking at 2000 now, and it's not. It's kind of there. I'm going to look at the speed, so it's a little bit above the target there, 320. I'm looking at 320 there, and now I'm looking at the air vertical. See, it's a little bit too high. Here, I'm looking at the speed. It's a little bit too high. I'm looking here at the plane here. See that? And then I'm looking at north here. Now, it's not exactly as I'd want it, but here's the problem. The problem is, it says look closer. I have to be moved closer to the monitor. And that's my problem, because I can't physically move the monitor any closer. I've got to sort that out before I make a judgment. But so far, it's pretty darn good. And I'm looking at taxi switch there. That's good. You know, the nav's button there. But it doesn't have a range that I want. But I think it's my setup more than anything else. Having said that, if I get rid of the eye tracker and just get rid of the eye tracker and move around my eyes, see the way it slowly kind of moves the camera there? That's really very good. Now I can move my head as well to get even more of a view, like your typical tracker, which is very good. But for some reason, it won't let you zoom in and out. You know, I can't look into the instruments. I can't back up. I can't yaw. It'll tilt my head a little bit, but that's about it. But your head is stuck in one position. So until I figure a way to get my monitor closer to me by about exactly 3 inches, then I can give a proper educated guess at how good the Tobii is. But I think it's not finished. I don't think they. I think I'm hearing that they they want to. They haven't finished the software yet, apparently. So there you go. That is the Tobii, the first look anyway at the Tobii eye tracker. If I get my monitor closer to me, which I'll have to work out somehow, I'll know then. You know, I'll know then. In fact, even if I get my seat, it's just my setup. I can't get it closer to me. At a desk setup, it'll be fine. But here, I'm being picky, and I'll tell you why I'm being picky. Because I'm thinking of while I'm doing IR flying and when I get good at it again. Okay? I'm looking dead center here. That's great. This won't matter to you. Because I want to stream at this, you see? And I want it to look exactly where I'm looking. I want to be in the center here. But that won't matter to you necessarily, because you're not showing stuff like I'm showing it. So I think Colonel Klink said, and he's probably a little bit more accurate, for what he wants, he doesn't want the blob, right? You don't need the blob here at all, right? That's not what it's about. It's about this. It's about not having a tracker IR in your head. It's brilliant for this. Absolutely stunning. So, yeah. I'm being overly picky, as I usually am. So, yeah, it's absolutely stunning for this kind of stuff. Looking over the wing, you know, looking behind you, you know. Looking up at the instruments there, and clicking buttons and stuff for the big jets down here, you know. So, yeah, I would say it is definitely good. It is definitely good. I'm just being over picky, as always. So, folks, thank you for joining me in my late night stream. I'll probably be on again tomorrow at some point. It's quite late now, so it won't be in the morning, but it'll be in the evening after work, hopefully. And thanks a million for watching. I will let you go to sleep. Any more questions there? Very interesting. Windage, thank you very much for being on. And folks, I will see you tomorrow after work. Irish time, probably about between 5 and 6. 5 and 7 anyway. Folks, I'll let you go to sleep, and I'll see you very, very soon.